Hello and welcome to Me and You and Nancy Drew, a podcast in which I, Colleen,
and I, Megan,
are reading and watching and going through the entire Nancy Drew universe, one book / computer /
board game?
Board game ? We found an old board game on eBay, but we're going through all the Nancy Drew. What do you call this?
Catalog?
Intellectual properties.
Intellectual properties.
The entire Nancy Drew catalog, very slowly and very surely. And what did we do this week, Megan?
This week we read the third in the original run of the Nancy Drew series, The Bungalow Mystery,
which was written and published in 1960. Previously, it had originally written in this date and rewritten in this date, and I don't have that written in mine.
Yeah, the only thing I have in this one is this new story for today's readers is based on the original of the same title.
Oh, interesting. I don't even have that.
It was the last of 3 books in the Breeder Set trilogy.
Sorry, the what?
The Breeder Set. Exactly what it sounds like.
Okay. All right.
To test market the series.
So she put out 3 at a time.
And we're breeding a love of Nancy Drew. We're sowing the seeds.
God, I hope that that's all that is. Maybe it was somebody's last name?
No.
Okay, cool.
No. So the original Bungalow Mystery was written in 1930 along with the first 2.
Gotcha. And then it was re-released in 1960, which is the version we have. And I have my mom's old copy, which is in the 2-for-1 books that she would get in the mail. And so it's in the same physical book as The Mystery at Lilac Inn, which is number 4, which you have not read yet. So
yes.
It smells musty and great. I love it. Drew Haiku.
So we will start with our traditional Drew haiku to start us off. You went first last time, so I think it's my turn to go first this time.
Okay. Give me your 575 poem to summarize this book.
An inheritance, embezzlement, and disguise. Nancy solves it all.
Nice. And I am really personally proud of you for not saying Nancy's third case.
I thought about it, but no, I decided to change it up a little bit this time.
That was awesome.
Let's hear your haiku, Colleen.
All right. To make the syllables work, I have given her a nickname.
I almost did the same thing.
Okay.
But
almost shipwrecked Nance makes a friend and gets the friend's fam and money back.
Yes. I love it. 30-second recap.
All right. Are you ready for your recap? Are you going first for this as well?
Sure.
All right.
Okay. And I remember my strategy. I have to look at the clock so that I can remember.
All right.
Okay.
Ready?
No, but we're going to go anyway.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Nancy and Helen are on a boat, and it gets boat wrecked, and they get saved by a very nice girl named Laura, and then they find out she's an orphan. Very, very sad. She's very sad, and she has new family to take her in, but she's never met them before, and they are very, very suspicious. And also there's an embezzlement thing going on with Mr. Drew that she's going to help solve. So she's very busy and pulled in all sorts of directions. But as per usual, it's actually all the same direction coming from different angles. There's some stuff.
Fine. Incredible. No notes. Perfect summary.
Yep.
All right. You ready to time me?
Yep. I am. Okay.
Is it Laura or Lauren? I can't forget.
It's Laura.
It is Laura. Okay.
Okay. On your mark. Get set. Go.
Okay, so after the friends Nancy and Helen are shipwrecked, Laura pulls them out of the water and is like, oh my God, I always rescue people in the water because my mom died in the water, and it's a whole thing. Anyway, I have some new guardians because my mom died, and they're being really sus. And so Nancy investigates them and is trying to rule out if they're also related to her dad's thing at the bank. And so she interviews a bunch of random people in town by making friends with them and doing some quick improv. And then it's they were actors all along. They were acting like her guardian, and then she gets a ring.
Very good. You got at least something from every part of the story. I think I got
I felt
halfway
that I
through.
did not do well, so thank you for that feedback. Cliffhanger.
In this segment of the podcast, we discuss the best cliffhangers, which Nancy Drew and other books similar, like The Hardy Boys, are well known for.
Oh, yeah.
Ending their chapters on a cliffhanger, so you just got to keep on reading.
Even if it's kind of a weak cliffhanger.
Do you want to start off with your personal favorite cliffhanger?
Okay, so I need to express that one of my favorite things is not necessarily a cliffhanger, but when in the middle of the chapter, it just italicizes one or sometimes 2 whole sentences.
Yes.
So page 3, I was reading this in the car yesterday on the way to Rent, and it's we're on page 3, hardly anything's happened, but they're on the boat, there's a storm, and then it just is 2 italic sentences in case you didn't realize how dramatic it was. Nancy froze with horror. a tremendous log was floating directly into the path of the motorboat. So I don't know if that counts because it wasn't at the end of the chapter, but I felt cliffed and hangered.
Yes, it makes you want to keep reading that chapter.
I did. Page 3, I was considering quitting, but thank God they had this cliffhanger. My favorite actual end of the chapter cliffhanger is almost not dramatic, but it is. Oh. It's not like, then they heard a scream or whatever. It's like Laura is talking about her guardians that her mom had set in the will of, like, if anything happens to me, these people should take care of you, blah, blah, blah. And she hasn't met them before, I think. And
no, she hasn't.
Yeah. And so she's like, oh, da, 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 da. She said, Mary, my mother had spoiled me and I was going to have to tow the mark in her home. What do I do? Nancy doesn't know. And then she's like, Nancy's asking some follow-up questions. And the cliffhanger is, instead of replying to the question, Laura said absently, Mrs. Aborn called my mother Mary, but Nancy, mother's name was Marie. I know. And I was like, okay, actually, that's very interesting.
Yes.
It wasn't even
one of the first suspicious things.
Right.
About these people.
Exactly.
Because we haven't even met them yet. Nancy hasn't even gotten to, like, get her intuition where she knows, like...
Where she instantly judges a person and knows.
Yes, because that's one of the well-known things about Nancy Drew. So I wrote down so many different cliffhangers. I felt like this one had a lot of good cliffhangers. But I'm going to go with right near the end of the novel, in case you really were like, oh, I can't get through one last chapter of this book. I need another cliffhanger. But there is a literal cliff involved in this. And this is when they're chasing the actors who have been masquerading as Laura's new guardians, and they're following in the car, and Nancy notices the warning, you're going around a big curve sign, but the people that they're chasing haven't, and they go careening off of the cliff.
Look at that.
And it literally ends with a steep cliff. I was like, okay, this is it. This is the perfect example. Winner. Yeah, I couldn't. Of course, I know there were some screams. Yeah, and I love a good scream at the end of a chapter. I had another one from the middle that wasn't italicized though. So Laura pulls them out of the lake, and she's staring at Nancy with keen interest. She goes, "I'm Laura Pendleton. I read in a newspaper about one of the mysteries you solved. I may need your help someday soon, Nancy." And without another word, she bent over her oars again. And it's like, okay, what a normal thing to say. And it's not like she left or walked away.
Nope.
Nancy could.
They're in the boat. There's ample time to follow up. And they do not.
Nope.
Very good, very good. Ship of the Week.
In this segment, Ship of the Week, we discuss which characters or characters and a characteristic we ship, aka we want them to be in a relationship, whether there is textual evidence to support that or not. Should I go first? Do you want to go first?
I can go first.
Okay.
So my ship of the week is Dawn Cameron and Laura. Oh no, do we have the same one?
No.
Oh, interesting.
I chose Nancy and Dawn.
Okay, I'm curious.
Okay, so you give your evidence, and then because I did honestly, I'll be honest, I did debate between. I was like,
right. So there's really only one romantic interest that's not like, oh, this is an already married couple, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So Dawn Cameron is just a random guy we've never heard of before. I suspect we will not hear from him again, but he's a guy that Nancy knows from high school, I think, and he sees her around, and she goes,
he's her prom date from senior year.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Prom together.
They did go to prom together, but we have not heard of him before. So this is when Nancy's trying to go and investigate the suspects that her dad wants her to look at. So Dawn is going to this barbecue dinner at one of the suspects' houses. So Nancy's like, oh my gosh, what if I went with you? And also he kind of catcalled her, but not really.
He's like, Nancy, it's me!
From the car, and she didn't notice because she was in her sleuthing thoughts. But she liked it, and she was like, heck yeah, let's go to this barbecue party together. But then she actually has to go sleuth something else, so she calls him up. She's like, hi, so remember how we have a date? I do need you to go with Laura instead. And he's like, wow, a real mystery. If I didn't know what sleuthing means to you, Nancy, I'd say you were just trying to brush me off. But you have me feel sorry for this Laura Pendleton, too. So I like a good pity date.
Oh my gosh.
And so, but then it seems like they had a really good time, so.
They did seem to have a really good time. Laura, it's the first time she was all excited and happy.
I like a good setup that ends well. I'm like, here's, you guys go together.
And see, I shipped Nancy and Dawn because he's got an actual personality and he actually does things in this book as opposed to last time, Mr. What was he, a tennis player?
He was a former
tennis player who had no personality. Dawn is so understanding and is like, one, he's like, I understand how sleuthing important this is to you. Of course, I will take someone else with me who has been very, very sad and is an orphan. But then he like continues and like stays with her for the rest of the novel. And like they leave Laura behind to like actually get to meet her real guardians who have been one imprisoned and the other in Florida, not imprisoned. Yeah, just like has been innocently fine the whole time. But he like helps defeat the bad guys. He helps
in the middle of the night.
Yeah, he's like walking around the woods with them. He's like helping Mr. Drew after he gets knocked out.
Yeah.
He's just like stand-up guy.
You know what? I dig it.
Yeah, I think.
And he's like, my sister's wedding is today, but you know what? I wouldn't have missed this. This was great.
Yes, that's why he's like, so I do need to go now because I do have a wedding in a few hours.
My sister today. But you know what? We had our date after all.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, he's like, we had our date after all. And like, that's what Nancy does. Nancy needs someone who understands that she's just going to drop everything and go solve a mystery. And not only did she do that, he joined her. That's a perfect Nancy Drew date.
You know what? You've convinced me. I'm on your side in the computer games. Ned is always so mad when Nancy does this. And Dom's already like, listen, it be like that sometimes.
I know how important this is to you. If I didn't know you as well as I do, I would assume this was an excuse. But I know you and you're really into this.
Yep.
So, yeah, you go do that.
I hope he comes back. I just
that would be nice.
that he won't because we haven't heard from any men as a follow-up.
But though, speaking of men that we hadn't heard of, Helen is still getting married. I kind of thought that was going to be dropped.
I'm glad we followed up with it only briefly.
Only very briefly.
Jim's still abroad for his oil business.
We'll be getting married. My aunt's making my wedding dress. Not one of the aunts from the last book. I was kind of disappointed. I thought it would be nice to have some follow through, but this is the first plot line that we've seen.
Like continue from book to book.
And I know this is only the first 3 novels, so I'll be interested to see if Helen's been in all 3 so far.
She has.
And so I'm hoping
I
don't. Yeah, I do too. I don't remember enough of any of the subsequent books to know if like there's any subplot with Helen getting married.
Because he seemed really suspicious, right?
Yeah.
In the last book, I thought he was gonna like be
show
a
up.
villain.
Yeah. No, or are they just setting him up to be a villain later?
That's like a lot of planning, I feel like, for these. Because I feel like these were meant to be kind of standalones.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they pretty much read as standalones, but then you know the characters.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Right, keep an eye on
I'm
that.
still debating whether I ship Helen and Jim because I'm still suspicious.
We haven't met him.
We still haven't met him. And she's only met him like twice. So I am.
A lot of letters. It's fine.
I am concerned.
Being catfished.
Yeah. Maybe she is.
Cooking corner.
In this segment, we look at the food, the recipes, and snacks and drinks that Nancy gets to experience throughout the book.
I was kind of disappointed in this book because usually it's like, oh, here's a thing I've never heard of. Let me look up what a floating island is. And this was kind of a food light book.
Yeah.
They were busy being starved of malnutrition, whatever. That's The Guardian.
They did eat often,
yes.
But there wasn't a lot of heavy descriptions about their food. The number one thing that stuck out to me was the mention of second breakfast.
Yes, I wondered if you'd pick up on that.
Of course I would. For people who don't know, my number one obsession is The Lord of the Rings and anything by Tolkien. So I did appreciate a good shout out to second breakfast and how excited they were. Because I think that's when Helen and Nancy had already had breakfast, and then Laura shows up, and they're like, second breakfast.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I was really excited, actually. Okay, so after they're almost shipwrecked, they go into this, the titular bungalow, which I think neither of us actually mentioned during the...
Yes.
I actually take issue with the name of this book, because the bungalow is not actually important.
I agree 100%. And I don't know where we can put this small, discussion within the context of the podcast.
Yeah, I didn't know what segment to put that in, but I don't like the title.
I don't either. And I also I haven't actually liked the first 2 either, because The Secret of the Old Clock gives away that we're looking for an old clock.
That's
and so
true.
You just wait for the clock to appear.
That's true.
And the same with The Hidden Staircase. They're like, oh, we're in a haunted house. Where's the ghost? How is it? And you're like, it's in the hidden staircase. It's in the hidden staircase. This one, I was like, okay, why did we name this one The Bungalow Mystery?
I think I just forget about the title until we're going over it. And then by the end, so the bungalow is where they go after they're done being almost shipwrecked. And they're like, we need to dry off. It's really cold. And Nancy's like, I know about hypothermia. And we need to get warm, ladies. And so they just go into a random house. And then Nancy leaves a note of hi, we took some of your stuff. Sorry, signed 3 grateful girls or something like that. I'm like, thank you, Nancy. So they break into this bungalow. They get warm. They have a little cocoa. because that's good under any circumstances. That's why this ties into Cooking Corner, but then I got sidetracked because the bungalow isn't important, and then it ties back at the end because the villainous actor's friend is staying at the bungalow. Like, it's not important
But they don't go back to the bungalow.
No, we just mentioned it again. It's not a good title.
Yeah. Though in reference to the hot chocolate, I did write down what Nancy says about it, which is, this is good. It's supposed to mean from context, but it says
UMM, this is good.
Like, so I just imagine her being like, this is good.
Have you guys heard of this stuff?
This is
hot chocolate.
Delicious.
Me who drinks them every day. I also liked that in every single meal, somehow salad was mentioned, like was highlighted with some tangy French dressing and some whatever salad. And
last book, The Hidden Staircase, was all about soup. And this one's all about salad.
All right. I'm curious what, because those are both courses of a meal.
Yeah.
So what course the next book is going to be?
I wonder if it's seasonal. Are we supposed to be implying the seasons from this? So it's a salad.
Salad like a spring and soup is like a fall.
Yeah, so I think
they were much closer together.
Yeah, I mean, even at the end of this one, it says a week later she would be investigating the mystery of the Lilac Inn.
I love when it spoils the exact title just to get you to look for the next book. She would be investigating italics the mystery at Lilac Inn. Do you have any other cooking notes? I had 2 others.
No, just a lot of salad, steak, baked potatoes and salad, fresh fruit salad.
A lot of salad.
Bread, butter, milk, and the salad.
It's a breakfast salad. I don't actually know that, but I assume.
They did have some breakfast, yeah.
I think. Say what? I loved that at the end we had some of Hannah's delicious open-faced sandwiches.
Wait, I missed that.
What a weird detail. That doesn't mean anything. That just means there's no bread on top.
I totally missed the open-faced sandwiches. Where's that?
I have it on page 179 for me. This is like when Laura's coming over to...
At the very end?
Yeah, to be like, oh, thanks for solving
my
case.
Oh, yeah. No, I totally missed this. I think I was just like, okay, there's a page left. I don't need to take any more notes.
Right. Her delicious open-faced sandwiches. It just feels less than detailed. Like a weird detail to put in.
Well, and considering how used to we've become to having
every
very detailed...
Mm-hmm.
I was like, tell me more about these open-faced sandwiches. What are they?
No, none of your business. The other thing that Hannah did, which was weird, and I loved it, So Carson Drew, Nancy's dad, had to break into his own house at one point because he forgot his keys, which was awesome. And Nancy's like, oh my God, an intruder. And he's like, oh my God, my daughter. And anyway, so he's sleeping. Hannah Gruen's like, so is your dad home? Because he wasn't when I went to bed. I can make him breakfast if you want. And she's like, yeah, absolutely. He's home. And so Hannah pauses at the door, winks at Nancy, and says, pancakes and sausage at 8:30. You tell your dad I'm going to squeeze some extra juicy oranges. What a weird sentence. Don't do this, and definitely don't wink at me during it.
Yeah,
What?
definitely some, implications. Wink, wink, wink.
I know Hannah is her mother figure, but I didn't get the impression they were in a relationship. I thought it was purely, domestic. Okay, great.
Maybe that's the secret ship. We'll look for clues throughout the books, see if we can find any other evidence.
I like this.
But yeah, overall, I think rather weak on the cooking corner. Fashion police. In this segment, we look at the fashion involved in this book. I will start if that's okay.
Yes, please.
I think I want to start with Helen's outfit.
Oh.
Near the beginning, she's wearing Bermuda shorts and a candy-striped blouse.
Yes!
Which I especially loved the shout out to Bermuda shorts because that's what I wore for the entirety of my teenage years.
And you were styled. Nancy Drew would have loved it.
I know. I just need that candy-striped blouse, apparently.
Does that just mean bright colors? What is candy
I think
striped?
candy striped meaning just at least because I did some research on the Google. It looks like it's anything candy striped is striped like a candy cane. So it can be
like red and white or just diagonal?
Any colors.
Interesting. Because I'm thinking of a candy striper, which was like a nurse.
Yeah.
Eddie and Veronica is how I know that.
This is like a modern day, from J. Crew, candy striped. It's pink and white striped. But a lot of the other ones, some of them were diagonal and had some green stripes or some yellow and green. But it always had red or pink.
Right.
So
it is very candy cane, but it's year round because this is not Christmas.
No, definitely not.
Interesting.
It's definitely the summer.
It is the summer, despite the cold, bedraggled nature of them earlier. That's because they were soaked in the lake.
During a storm.
I do need to actually call the fashion police on them because here's the dealio. The 3 bedraggled girls get out of the lake and water is oozing from Laura's sandals.
Yes.
Disgusting.
Gross.
But Nancy and Helen had kicked theirs off in the lake, presumably kicked off their sandals, and now slipped and slid in their soggy socks. Socks and sandals, that's like the one thing I know you're not allowed to do unless you are a middle-aged dad.
Aww.
And they are not middle-aged dads, so unfortunately I am going to actually have to call the fashion police on them for this infraction.
It's disappointing.
I hate to see it.
I also just want to bring attention to all of the cotton dresses. Shout out to the cotton dresses. A becoming pink cotton dress. A two-piece navy blue cotton dress.
That
A
makes her look
forest
older.
green, yes. A forest green cotton dress. A simple black cotton dress.
Must be summer.
Yes.
Breathable.
Yes.
Light. I really liked when Nancy picked out some of her clothes for Laura, who's run away from her abusive fake guardians. And Laura takes a shower, Nancy gives her some clothes, and Hannah declares that Laura looks pretty as a picture and twice as relaxed. Or sorry, much more relaxed. And I guess that could be much more relaxed than she was, but in the same sentence, it sounds like she's much more relaxed than a picture, which is a weird thing to say. What would you wear that would make you look much more relaxed than a picture is my question.
They do have a lot of outfit changes. I think the only other significant one I would want to mention is they decide to go play tennis at one point.
They do.
At the hotel. And also there's a random person. They're like, oh, this is our friend. Come join us for a foursome.
Oh. Thank you for the wink.
You're welcome. They got Laura changed into like one of Nancy's extra tennis clothes. I was like, I don't have any tennis clothes.
No, I don't
and I
either.
definitely, if I were going on a trip, wouldn't bring two tennis clothes. So I don't know. I was just feel like Nancy's a very different type of person than me.
We see that Nancy does have a kit in her car.
Oh my gosh, yes. Why didn't I put
that in sleuthing skill?
On
But
sleuthing
it's relevant here because she keeps 2 changes of clothes, pajamas, and, quote, this time of year, a bathing suit.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's so helpful that you have that and some toiletries and stuff. Question for you that you may or may not know, but you know more about fashion than me. What are brown play or just play shoes in general?
I did try and look that up, and I had a really hard time finding.
That sounds like something you'd give a child. Like,
Yes, and that's what kept happening. Is anytime I searched play shoes, it was the fake plastic heels that we had in like the mid 90s.
Mm-hmm.
That's what kept coming up, and so I did like 1950s play shoes. And what I kind of found, and I don't know if this is correct, was like
almost like tennis shoe, bowling shoe,
saddle shoes. Is that what they were called? I don't know.
But like
I remember,
good for walking in the woods and
yeah,
sleeping.
I had a pair of these that went with my poodle skirt that my mom made for me for Halloween. Specifically, I had this Halloween costume and poodle skirts, not because I was into the 1950s, but because I loved Mary-Kate and Ashley.
I was just going to ask if it was Mary-Kate and Ashley.
Yeah, and Mary-Kate.
The time travel sleepover.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And Katie and I were obsessed with their poodle skirts, so I got a pink one for Mary-Kate, and Katie got the blue one for Ashley. Future Megan here with a correction. I had the blue poodle skirt for Mary-Kate, and Katie had the pink one for Ashley.
My other note on the green cotton dress is it's good camouflage.
Yes! I also wrote that down.
No, it's not. She's in the woods and she's like, thank God I wore green. It's good camouflage. That's not. No. Incorrect.
Is that the part where she also then still gets found anyway?
Because it's not good camouflage because it's just a green dress.
It's just a green dress.
Did you notice that she brushed her hair until it snapped with electricity?
I did write that under miscellaneous mysteries.
I think that's fashion, and specifically a fashion crime. Now I have very short hair because I hate dealing with it, but I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to do that.
That's always been my goal, is to eliminate the static. What's the goal?
It snapped with the electricity. She was ready for supper. And then you notice at supper, she was getting like a lot of like looks of people interested in her because she was flushed with excitement about the mystery. And maybe they also thought she looked insane because she had static hair. They were interested in her being a mad scientist.
She looks like she got struck by lightning. She's like bright red in the face.
Like hair going fully 90 degrees out from her head. No wonder you were getting looks at dinner, girl.
And she's like a red-haired boy came up to her with dancing, like an invitation to dance in his eyes. Maybe he was just like coming up to her concerned to ask if she was all right. If he needed to call the doctor.
Yes. Oh my god.
My goodness. Oh yeah, I did write down that she has a waterproof watch. I did not realize that waterproof watches had been around that long.
Yeah, especially if this was written in the 30s.
There were a lot of things where I was looking up, and maybe we can talk more about that in the Blast from the Past, but thinking like, oh, that didn't exist. It must be only from the 50s, and being like, oh no, it also existed in the 30s.
I learned so much.
Yeah.
Picture perfect.
In this segment, we look at the wonderful illustrations included in the Nancy Drew books. There are always about like 4 or 5 illustrations. I want to start with the first one. We talked about that one extensively in our last episode, especially like how it looked on my phone. Not good.
How it looked.
And I think the goal I've always assumed of the, like, before the book even starts, it's like the first page after seeing the copyright. And actually, it's before the copyright info even.
It is.
With the title page, it's always got like an illustration to get you like excited for what you're about to read and a caption. I think I would actually appreciate it without the caption because this already tells us the man chained to the bench was Jacob Aborn. Or Aborn? I don't know how to say it.
I said Aborn in my
Aborn.
head. Like
Aborn. Yeah, Acorn, Aborn. Which automatically tells you that this character is going to be tied up eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you do get introduced to him, and he is, spoiler alert, not really Jacob Aborn.
He's the actor.
He's the actor pretending to be him. I already was like, well, I know that this Jacob is tied up somewhere right now. So it feels like such a spoiler. If it gave it to me without the
caption, it'd just be like, oh, Nancy is coming down some stairs. There's cobwebs. There's a man chained to a bench. I think that is intriguing and enticing.
Yes.
Without having the caption, it becomes, and I know that like spoilers is a newer concept, but I think that this is the plot twist.
Yeah, but that
and here it is,
and
right before the book starts. I totally missed it. I skipped past it by accident. So.
But that's how I felt. I mean, we've talked about this before. The title of the Hidden Staircase and The Secret of the Old Clock. I think, and I don't know if this is just a change in readership over time,
right?
But like, I think even like Agatha Christie was older than this.
That's a great question. I think so, but I have never compared the two.
Just because
people say like the murder on the Orient Express and all you know there's a murder. Well, yeah, it's an Agatha Christie novel. We know there's a murder. It wasn't, the murder committed by this person or whatever.
Nancy Drew predates Murder on the Orient Express.
Oh.
But the original by 4 years.
So they're around the same time period.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. I rescind what I was going to say. But I just appreciate, and I know that these are, at least from our modern lens, these are on my shelf for my 5th graders. The target audience is more middle grade. I don't know if that was the intended audience originally, but that's who I recommend these to. Mm-hmm. And so, I guess reading comprehension wise, maybe it does give a little bit of like a leg up into understanding the novel. But for me as a reader, I want a little bit more surprise.
Well, and I don't think you even need to rescind what you were saying, because if Agatha Christie and Carolyn Keene or Mildred Ware Benson are titling their books around the same time, I don't know. You would think it would be a similar level of hiding your mystery versus extremely giving away your mystery.
Well, and, keeping in mind, these are the first 3 books. I'm pretty sure that over time they get a little bit more.
Yeah, the next one is the Mystery at Lilac Inn, which just gives us a location.
And the next one is the Secrets of the Ranch or the
Secret of Shadow Ranch?
Yeah.
That's coming up soon.
Shadow Ranch is 5.
I think that's when we meet Bess and George.
Really?
I think so.
Oh, Shadow Ranch was always my favorite when I was a kid.
It's one of the
because it's got horses.
Oh my gosh.
I was
it's
a
one
horse
of the
girl.
games.
Oh my gosh.
It's one of the most frustrating games. That's when you start getting the internet on Nancy's cell phone, but you can only click on like 3 websites because obviously you can't just search on the internet on the cell phone. And it's like, here's what a tomato is. Don't eat it if it's green, unless it's one of a green tomato. Do you have any other pictures to discuss?
I think you've got actually your book open right now to the other one I would want to discuss. Yes. So let's hear your thoughts.
Oh, I just really liked the physical space that this picture takes up. And I will post a picture on our Patreon, and you don't have to be a subscriber to see this. I just want you to have a visual. So we've talked before about the pictures that kind of take up like the top half of a 2-page spread, and then there's just like regular words, not even a caption, which is regular like the book underneath. And how I usually don't see that outside of a picture book. Well, this one, it takes up about half of the left-hand side and then about 5/6, if not more, of the right-hand side, which is an interesting...
It like kind of almost like...
diagonal.
Yeah, flows on a diagonal.
And this is the water that Nancy and Helen are stuck on. Helen's bailing out the water. Nancy's trying to steer the boat or something. It's listing sharply to starboard. There's rain. Also, we both have the physical book this time, and my picture is much higher quality than yours.
Yeah.
Sorry,
look at
what?
that.
Like they're just ink drawings, they're not anything.
But yeah, this one looks like it's been copied more
a lot
than
of times.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That is interesting. Like I don't, and this you lent me this one as well.
I did.
This is an old library one though.
Yeah.
But I also just do appreciate that this is on like page 4 and 5.
Like, I'm engaged.
This starts very dramatic.
It does. They're like in the middle of the storm. Chapter 1 is a blinding storm.
And it is a very, very compelling picture. I really did enjoy that.
I did too. And then I have a small complaint about my other picture.
Okay. I wonder.
Specifically about the caption. So Laura is showing off the jewels that she spirited away out from the house where she was being like locked in with her fake guardians, and so she hid them and took them with her as she climbed out the window down the rose trellis and like ran to Nancy's house basically. Did she get a taxi? How did
she got a bus.
She got a bus. Okay. I was like, she couldn't have walked all the way. Anyway, so she's like, here's the jewels, da da da. Helen's on crutches, looking weird in the background.
I know. She's disassociating in the background.
Helen's not really here. That's fine.
No, that's not Helen. Hannah.
Oh, Hannah. I do that every time.
It's okay. It's the H start.
It is the H start, but it doesn't have the H on. So Hannah's disassociating in the background because she's on pain meds, maybe. I don't know. She's like, I'm fine. And then she's just side. And then Nancy's like, wow, it's so pretty. And Laura's holding up a necklace. There's necklaces and bracelets all over the table. And the caption is, the ring was Mother's favorite.
As she holds up a necklace.
What ring? I don't even see a ring in this picture.
I think she does have one in her other hand. But
I didn't even see that. It's so small.
And she's clearly not showing that one.
She's holding off a necklace, which is giving off, like, glowing light.
So are the ones on the table, like, on her, like...
No, the ring is too.
I know. All of this jewelry is just, like...
It's glowing.
Glowing.
Emanating. It's radioactive.
That's why it's so valuable.
Yeah, from the radium. But I just take issue with her holding off the necklace. The necklace is clearly meant to be the focal point of the entire picture. And then the caption is about the ring, and I just don't appreciate that at all.
Agreed. Blast from the past. In this segment, Blast from the Past, we look at things that have either significantly changed over time, things that intrigued us about the past, things that maybe haven't aged well or feel inappropriate to a modern-day audience. So it kind of is a catch-all for anything to do with the past.
Yeah.
I personally did not find anything that, like the last 2 novels we had kind of some jump out like, ooh.
Like that didn't age well type
things. That is uncomfortable now. I didn't really catch anything like that in this book.
It was pretty minor, and it was just, she didn't like being treated like an invalid. And I think we've talked about that before. That's not my favorite. It does just say invalid. It was a 1-sentence thing. We've already talked about it. I don't think we need to go in depth, but yeah, nothing else.
Nothing new.
Which is good. I am happy to report that I did find the actor portraying Laura's guardian saying perfect bricks hysterical. I've never heard that in my life. I read like a decent amount of older books. And so I've heard like, okay, so.
Wait, what's the context? Perfect bricks? Is it like an exclamation?
It's a compliment.
Oh.
I didn't think it would be. So the actor that's playing the guardian, Mrs. Aborn.
Yeah, Dowd is the last name.
Is the real last name,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Alma Dowd. So Mrs. Aborn rushes toward them and is like, darlings, you've been so good to poor Laura. Perfect bricks, Mr. Aborn said gruffly and extended his hand.
Oh.
It's a compliment. You've been perfect bricks. Thank you.
Interesting.
It doesn't
Was
feel
that
like a
steady
compliment.
and
I guess.
like...
I don't know. It could be worth a Google. I didn't get to. I just thought it was funny. I just thought it was not even a backhanded compliment. It's just a compliment that sounds like it's an insult.
One of the things I ended up, because, it always ends up like inspiring research from me. Yeah. The switchboard operators were featured multiple times in this book. So I did a little bit of research on how, like, again, one of those, is this from the 1930s that carried on into the 50s? Is it from the 50s? And it is like kind of like anachronistic for the 30s. What's this era? But switchboard operators in both the 30s and the 50s were still very, very prevalent. I did want to just from the Wikipedia page about switchboard operators. I really liked this. Elma Nutt became the first female telephone operator on the 1st of September, 1878, a lot earlier than I thought. When she started working for the Boston Telegraph Dispatch Company because the attitude and behavior of the teenage boys previously employed as operators was unacceptable.
No, but I think I learned this from COSI. That's the it's a museum in Columbus, Ohio, and there's like a progress exhibit. Have you been there?
I have been once, but it was a while ago.
So it's, I believe the progress has like, I don't know the eras, but it's like 2 different eras, but it's the same street. And so you kind of see like, here's what the pharmacy looked like here, here's what the pharmacy looked like here.
I know which part you're talking about.
Yeah, there's a telegraph section and then there's a phone section. And in the phone one, and there's like a, like a radio station and then a TV station, et cetera. Mm-hmm. It's really cool. And then like there's, my favorite part that I only just connected the last time I went there was there's like a stick and hoop.
Yes.
And then there's a hula hoop.
I did not make that connection. I have pictures of my husband husband and I playing with the stick and the hoop.
Great. Excellent. Was he great at it?
No.
Anyway, so specifically in the phone area, there's like a notice posted of like apologies to all for the behavior of the teenage boys who we hired to do the switchboard operator job and had all these inappropriate jokes that they did on the phone. I'm so sorry. We have hired new people. If this happens again, please let us know. I'm so sorry again about calling about Howard Butts or whatever they said. I don't remember what the jokes were that they made.
That's so funny.
It was so great.
Teenage boys never change.
So wait, so she's the first female one in the 1800s. So it's been happening for even longer than the 1890s. Right?
Yeah. And the last switchboard operator retired in the 1980s, 1983. Yeah. So I didn't realize.
That's a much longer
That's a
span.
huge span of time that honestly, all I think about is World War II.
Yeah.
That's the only era I would assume, if you ask me when switchboard operators. So I learned a lot from that.
So continuing with the phone thought process, Laura calls Nancy at one point and is trying to convey her distress, but then gets cut off because the like fake guardian is twisting her arm behind her back and like hangs up the phone. And so Nancy just kind of hears Nancy Drew, a scuffle, a cry of pain, and a crash, and a hang up. And so Nancy's like, I hated that. What do I do? And her dad comes down and is like, who was it? And Nancy's like, yeah, this is what happened. He goes, you didn't recognize the voice? She goes, no, so I can't call back. Someone's in trouble. Here I stand helpless to do anything. It's maddening. And then her dad is like, it certainly is. Well, I gotta go.
They just sort of like, I don't know.
There's nothing I can do about this, and therefore.
Yeah, I was like, oh, God. To live without anxiety, because I would be like, I can't rest. I need to figure this out. She's like, oh, well.
She can't star 69 it to find out who called her.
Yep, and after that, she just, like, waits until she has an epiphany. She's like, wait a second.
I think
that was Laura.
And she gets white with shock about it.
But it's been, like, 2 chapters by that point, by the time she makes the connection. And doesn't even know for sure if that was. She's like, it sounded like it could have been Laura.
In the one sentence I heard, which was Nancy Drew ? In a low female voice. That could have been a lot of people. Do you have any other ones?
I did, talking about the elevator operators.
Oh.
And so in her father's building, there's an elevator operator. She knows him by name. His name's Hank. She asks for directions on how to get to a certain street. And then she gets to a super fancy like apartment building and she's impressed that it's self-operated. So she gets to push the buttons herself. And I just thought that was...
I somehow didn't catch that. Do you write down what page that was?
I did not. Of course not.
No, you don't have to.
No, but I did read it this morning. So I probably will be able to find. I know Hank's mentioned... I always know...
He's on the right-hand page.
Yeah.
Interesting. Self-operated elevator. What will they think of next?
She checks the directory. She rang the elevator bell. Almost instantly, aluminum doors slid open noiselessly, and Nancy stepped inside the carpeted elevator. It was self-operated. Nancy pushed the 4th floor control. Her heart was pounding with excitement, probably about the elevator. No, it wasn't. But so maybe she wasn't as excited as I thought.
No, that's great.
But I do think... I think the 50s are an era of like kind of that change and switch over to things becoming more automatic.
Yeah, not to pound the same drum I have been, but in the games, there's probably at least 3 where she gets stuck in an elevator, has to climb out through.
Yes.
That's why her heart's pounding, and she's like, oh my God, if there's not a guy in here, then I'm going to have to climb out through the roof again.
Yep.
God. My life is so difficult. I liked when the squad cars came to help with the car crash, where the car goes off a cliff. It's fine. It's not fine. And they have 4 officers, 2 stretcher bearers, and an intern. The normal people we'd have show up at the emergency. Is the stretcher bearers the paramedics?
I assume so.
And an intern just there.
Yeah.
Checking out. And he interviews them, which I think means, like, takes their name and their info. But, like, he interviews them while the stretcher bearers are bearing their stretchers. Like, what a weird, to me, in the modern era sentence.
And then my last one, it actually kind of call back to the previous book when they dressed up in all the colonial stuff and they kept calling it, like, old time, whatever. And she's like, wow, an old time oil lantern.
I got that, too.
Which also then made me look up how long have battery-operated flashlights been around.
Flashlights are older than I
thought. It was
1800s.
Yes, late 1800s, like 1897 or something.
That is not what I would have assumed.
No, again, I looked at the Wikipedia pages.
Great.
Best source. But it said, like, by the 1930s, there were over 2 million flashlight users. But that's how it was phrased. And I was like, amazing. So, yeah, I always love learning things.
Full stop.
Yep, I do love learning things. The end. No, I do love learning new things that are inspired by kind of like different things that pop out at me from Nancy Drew. And then I go on like down the Wikipedia research rabbit hole.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Wound watch.
In this segment, we keep track of the number of wounds accumulated by Nancy during the book. So I'll start with immediately. I wouldn't necessarily say she gets a wound, but she does almost drown.
Yeah.
They're, like, fairly close, and she is, like, exhausted and, like, swimming with Helen, who's injured and not as strong a swimmer as her.
Yeah, that was a very dramatic start, because usually it's like,
It was.
we're having a picnic and my dad has a case, or I don't know if that's a specific one, but just kind of that vibe.
Yeah.
This is no, we're actually actively in peril right now.
Yes.
What's the other very important one from this book?
The most important one we have, is this knockout number 2?
It's knockout number 2 in 3 books.
Yep. Knockout number 2 for Ms. Nancy Drew.
You hate to see it.
She gets knocked out by fake up,
if you will.
Fake-up. She gets knocked out by Fake-up when she finds real Jacob in the cellar.
Which we knew about from
Yes.
the picture.
We were
By his cane.
Yes.
And so she has just rescued a real Jacob. She has unlocked his padlock, and he's like, hurry, we need to get the stairs before he gets back. Too late. She gets whacked. She's out for an unknown amount of time. It's fine. We're not going to follow up on that either. So that's 2 knockouts of 3 books. And then Carson Drew, her dad, gets knocked out too.
For also the second time in 3 books.
It's so sad. Guys, like, I know we're not keeping track of every single person's wins, but I feel the need to keep track of Nancy and Carson. Also, Hannah is on crutches for a good bit of the book, but that's, like, unrelated. It doesn't seem to be, like, something happened to her that's case-related. She just fell or something.
Yeah.
But Carson and Nancy, you're going to have no brain cells. Oh, and then also when Nancy remembers something, she looks like she's deadly white and about to faint. Because she, like, this is when she's recalling the phone call and like, oh my God, I think that was Laura. I think she's in trouble. So Hannah's like, are you good? Like, she is trying to run over to check on Nancy because she thinks Nancy's going to faint. But Hannah's on crutches. So it's like, I don't know, not a good situation. She's not able to help her.
Yep.
So yeah.
Pretty short wound watch
Short
today.
wound watch. I just think that Nancy should be able to remember things without passing out about it.
Drew's Clues.
In this segment, we use our kind of inferencing skills to fully paint a picture of Nancy Drew as an individual, and we want to know as much as we can about her. So right off the bat, I had no idea that Nancy was such a strong swimmer and diver.
Yeah.
It talks about her, like, perfect form and her, like, perfect surface dive.
In the storm.
In a storm. I was like, wow. Kind of tying into that, she's a really talented tennis player as well. Like, I did not realize she was also so athletic.
She's sporty.
She is sporty. Enough so that she brings 2 tennis outfits with her just in case.
In case she needs them.
Yeah. So
She's prepared.
she is definitely a word I would describe.
Did you notice she's starting to go strawberry blonde? Because I always remembered her as being described as strawberry blonde, and she was, like, very blonde in the first
Yes.
one.
Oh,
And now on the first page, she has reddish gold glints in her blonde hair.
Here's
The transformation has begun. Okay. Something I noticed is kind of a meme in the Clue crew, especially those who mostly just play the games and have read a couple of the books. And what she does is Nancy always tries to bond with people who have lost someone in their life by mentioning that she lost her mom at the age of 3, which some will note is not actually a time when you're forming a ton of memories. To the point that has become like a, what happened to your mother? Mine died at the age of 3. I understand all of your trauma. Like, there's just like memes of her doing that. And on page 15, she's like, Laura, I understand. You're a recent-ish orphan. And put an arm around Laura's shoulders impulsively and told of losing her own mother at the age of 3. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize this was also in the books. Incredible. Good work, Nancy. Like, it works. It's fine. She, is a sympathetic character and listens to Laura, and clearly they're friends, but I'm just like, interesting. I don't know that would work on everybody, buddy. You can't. That was everybody, comma, buddy.
Yes.
Sorry. I don't know that you can just do that.
She seems to have a fairly okay success rate with it, but it is a little bit, what word would...
It's not quite callous.
No.
Because she's trying to connect her own experiences, but I can't stress enough that Laura's an adult, or almost an adult. She's like 16. And that's different.
It is very different. And, like, her mom just died.
Yeah.
After sounds like extensive illness. Like, it's very different experiences. Which, I almost had the word. But also, like, because kind of very similarly tied to this, near the end of the book, she's like, thanks so much for saving us. We would have been at the bottom of the lake. And it's like also this weird, also implied, like your dad. Like, because her dad drowned in a storm.
She goes out on stormy days and looks for people in distress, which is why she finds Nancy. I'm like,
tactless.
There you go.
That's the word I want.
And that's another, like, meme fact about her of, like, yes, she gets the answers, but without a lot of thought
Yeah.
about how others are going to feel about her questions. Like
very
in one of the
lucky.
games, the one you played, she gets you have made a fatal error trying
Yes.
again because she asked too personal of a question.
She won't. I was just like, I want to know. Tell me more. I lost the game. Oh gosh, let me go back.
Great.
On kind of a not similar vein, but also kind of maybe a not as positive, or maybe sometimes it's positive, could cause problems for her later. She makes a lot of assumptions about what people will be okay with.
Yes.
And so I put presumptuous, because she's like, they won't mind that we're breaking in through this window of this. We're going to break into this bungalow through this unlocked window. They won't mind. They'll understand. And then she's like, let's eat their food. They'll be okay with this. I'm like, are you sure?
And now it does turn out that a criminal has been living
Yeah.
there. She probably would not love that.
No. So I was like, you're very presumptuous, Miss Nancy Drew.
She makes a lot of wide-reaching comments. Overarching is not the right word. What am I trying to say here?
Generalizations?
Yes, because there is somebody who almost sideswipes them while they're driving back from the lake, and
Turns out it's a bad guy.
turns out it's a bad guy, but she just goes, some drivers don't deserve a license. I'm like, okay.
I think Helen set her up for that, because Helen does say, like, 4 pages before that,
Yeah.
some people just don't deserve help.
Yeah. Guys.
You're being so judgmental.
They're so judgmental, and they've usually been like so positive, like everyone could use a friend in need as a friend in need. Like, I don't know, I feel like they've been a lot nicer towards strangers.
They're having, to be fair, they did just drown
That's
almost.
fair.
They're very tired. Maybe they're
a bad day.
they don't have their filter
Yeah.
right now. We've gone through a traumatic experience.
I like that she is this before Hannah is her? No, we find out that Hannah has sprained her ankle, and Nancy's like, okay, so I'm going to calculate my sleuthing so I can get home to cook Hannah dinner, even though Hannah is ostensibly like the housekeeper that cooked or whatever. And Nancy's like, no, we're family.
Yeah.
If you're hurt, I'm going to cook for you. And then later Hannah's like, well, if you don't, I don't want to cause you trouble. And Nancy's like, no, you mean you don't want me in your kitchen, but I'll be very neat. I love that we know each other so well and have this relationship. It makes me so
No,
happy.
it is such a good relationship.
Yes.
The other thing I definitely wanted to talk about
Mhm.
was that Nancy, which I did not know this was true, but we've been referencing this for the last 2 books. She is a collector. She is collecting things from these.
She is.
And so I was starting to think, I'm like, what should she have
In the Druseum.
in her Druseum? And I immediately was like, let's see, is there any small object that Nancy was like, ooh, I really like that?
Mhm.
And I was like, the aquamarine ring. And then on the very last page, Laura gives her the aquamarine ring. I was like, yes.
I'm so glad you predicted that, because we had from the old clock. She has given the old clock
Yes.
in the hidden staircase. She has given a valuable silver urn. Now we have elected to give her the tricorn hat for the Druseum because we think that's like cooler.
Yeah, but also I was trying to figure out what silver urn this
still don't
could be
remember this, yeah.
because.
But it's referenced in this book. She's showing off to Laura like, oh, I have these souvenirs. from
But
the
I
mysteries.
want to remind you that I read this digitally, which means I have the ability to search.
Oh, that's right.
So I searched the word urn and silver, and nothing came up other than the word turning and turnbull,
Right.
because they have the word urn in them and return.
Okay,
And I was like,
so it's fine that I don't remember
Yes,
that
I
because
was
that's
like-
not in there. But it says in this book, in my last mystery, the hidden staircase, I got a valuable silver urn. Here it is.
yeah. So I was like,
Weird.
so I'm wondering if that's maybe from the 1930s, something
And
that
I just cut it out for some
it
reason.
just got cut and then not noticed here. But I don't know.
And she's showing it out. She's like very proud of it. Like, this is a gift I was given. And then I also was thinking about the jewelry, and I was like, but that is her mom's jewelry. That is also very expensive. Like,
Mhm.
there's no way. And then she's like, I want you to remember this, to remember that we met on the water. It's very cute.
And I love it, especially since I have an aquamarine engagement ring. I was like,
Oh,
it's
my
me.
God.
It's
I
me.
didn't connect that.
I did.
Did you notice that she also like stole some matches from the hotel? Like,
Yeah.
it's probably not really stealing because it's like like a free little matchbook, like you take the hotel soap or whatever. But also, like it does say she took them off the dining room table, which
like, oh.
is weird.
Cool.
Yeah.
Pocket.
Yeah, for
Very.
her souvenir collection that we didn't know she had. And then she needs them later, and she uses them for the kerosene old timey lamp,
Which
but,
feels very video game
like,
esque.
every video game. This might come in.
Yeah.
later.
I might need this for later.
Which she does with just in the computer games, just gum, just chewed gum that she finds. She's like, I might need this for later. Puts it in her pocket.
Because all of her dresses do have pockets.
It's true. It's stylish and useful. The only other thing I had for this section is, so when Carson has to break into his own home because he forgot his keys because he's too busy lawyering, I guess, she's like, oh my God, a burglar. I got to get ready. And he's like, oh, and like she hears laughing. She's like, oh, that's my dad. And then so she runs over and goes, you're the best looking burglar I've ever seen.
There's been a few times she has referenced her father's
Like being
attractiveness.
Now, and I think that the narrator does this too. So I'm wondering if this is the thing at the time was like this attractive landscape, this attractive car, this attractive whatever.
Man, this attractive father.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. That was very funny. Like, I understand it's like, oh, I'm relieved that it's not a bad guy, but also that's so very, and that she runs ever gives him a kiss. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But like, weird a little bit.
Yeah, it is. The last thing that I noted was that her car gets like sabotaged after she like kind of parks it into some shrubs and the woods to camouflage it, and it won't start. And she opens the hood and she tells us that she has taken like mechanics classes and can identify what's wrong with her car fairly easily. And she like checks and she's like, someone has messed with my car. They messed with that. And I was like, okay. And I know we've seen kind of like little glimpses of this.
She
like
changes the tire. She's like, I don't like doing it, but I will.
Yeah. Or the boat is that the first?
The first one, she has to fix the boat motor.
Yeah.
Motor, if you will.
So
I'm so sorry.
So yeah, she is. I do appreciate it doesn't end up feeling like, which I'm not necessarily against this as a concept anyway, but people talk about like a Mary Sue.
Every possible skill.
Yeah, but like this gives us evidence of like why.
Yeah.
Like she has taken classes. She wants to be independent and take care of herself. Yeah. And she talks about how her dad has made her like a self-reliant individual.
And has helped train her to be such.
Yeah. And
so it's not she had to be self-reliant or she just has all these magical skills.
Yeah. And so to be able to also see that it's not, oh, just in this one book, she happens to be good at. No, we've got evidence that like one, she's studied these things, and two, she like is kind of using them often. So I do really appreciate that about Nancy Drew. Self-reliant and always wanting to learn more.
Sleuthing skills. In this segment, we talk about the sleuthing skills. That is the skills you need to have developed before you even start to embark on your first mystery. These already have to be in the bag, in your brain, ready to go, pull out at a moment's notice. What sleuthing skills did you find today, Megan?
We've kind of already referenced this in the Fashion Police, but you must have a emergency bag in your trunk at all times with multiple outfits, pajamas, a swimsuit, toiletries, all the things you need in case you happen to have to stay overnight to solve your mystery.
And also an extra tennis outfit.
And an extra tennis outfit for your friend that you might make along the way.
We have seen previously that you need to be an expert at boat engines, but also you need to be able to deal with a boat in a storm and know what to do. So when your boat is listing sharply to starboard and there's a hole inside of the craft, Nancy tells Helen to start bailing while Nancy tries to stop the leak with her own raincoat and stuffing it into the hole in the boat. Works super well, but she knows the strategies to try, and I appreciate that.
The next skill you must have is knowing how to position your hands while you are being tied up so that you can then loosen it as you go. So you have to remember your training in those moments, as Nancy does in this book. And she does do this successfully.
She does. She thinks she doesn't because it's taking her a minute, but she perseveres. You also have to be an expert at bank lingo and like just understanding, like, if there's a bond stolen that says payable to bearer, then you know that that's dreadful because it means that whoever has the bonds can cash them. You get to explain to me, the reader who doesn't know anything about banks, every single fact of banking life so that you can understand all the bank crimes that happen. That's important.
The last one I have is positive self-talk. You need to be able to hype yourself up, talk through different strategies with yourself in order to improve your own sleuthing skills and solve your mysteries.
Readers of this novel, named Colleen, think that this self-talk could happen internally while you are trying to be quiet in the woods, and you keep telling yourself out loud the strategies you need and how lucky you are to have this skill.
They can be out loud, they can be internal. You know.
I think they should always be internal if you are trying to sneak around. But that is, I am not a sleuth. So I don't know. It's also important to be just an improv expert.
Yes.
Yes, and I think you mean. So she has to interview a bunch of, there's 4 possible suspects for the bank situation, and she has to go there, and she goes over to one woman's house and is like, well, I'm going to say I'm there looking for volunteers for the youth center that I work at and I volunteer at. It's one of my favorite charity cause. And if she asks any further questions, I won't really be lying because I do work there and I do want volunteers, but it will also be a way to get to know her. Now, the next place, it's very helpful to her. They give her the situation. They think she's the dog walker. So she has to yes and her way through that situation with several poodles, I think.
Yes.
Great. Yeah. So you just got to be an improv expert. You also need to have a sixth sense. It is explicitly stated in the text to know about when unfriendly eyes are watching your every move, and when there is someone inside a shack that needs help. That's important to have.
Yes, she just knows.
Yeah, you just know. And you have to be an incredible driver. When you see a huge black and white checkerboard sign indicating a bad curve ahead, you have to, with well-timed precision, ease up on your speed and gradually use your brake to avoid a bad skid. It's a lot of skills, but it is worth it in the end.
So reach out. Let us know how your sleuthing skills are developing and when you're ready for your first mystery.
Accidentally Gay. It's time for Accidentally Gay, the segment where we point out the portions of the book that could, from a modern perspective, be seen as gay, even though they almost certainly weren't intended as such. Did you notice anything in this section?
I did notice 2 kisses, one between Laura and Helen, and one between Nancy and Laura.
Yes. As bosom friends do.
Yes. So lots of greeting by kissing.
To show your love and a platonic friendship. Helen tries to get Nancy. So when Nancy and Helen are almost drowning, Nancy is swimming with Helen's full weight and is clearly bearing the strain of this. And Helen goes, "Go to shore without me." And Nancy goes, "Never." And feebly struggles back to the surface. It's so good. It's so sad. You already mentioned that they are asking another girl that they met yesterday to make a foursome in tennis. That's important.
Yes.
It's the best kind of foursome.
On page 69,
Yes.
Nancy has this almost like flirty interaction with her dad's secretary.
Yes. Which, of course, is a woman because it is the 50s/30s.
Yes. And the efficient young woman says, "My, how pretty you look, Nancy," which makes Nancy blush a little. And her response is, "You look lovely yourself."
Yes, I love it. I also love, we mentioned this red-haired young man walking towards Nancy with an invitation in his eyes for her to dance, and she hastily goes to her room.
Nope. Ew, no.
You know. Fantastic. There was also a queer sensation in the woods because she was being watched, of course. Perhaps my favorite lovely moment of bosom friendship is Laura presenting Nancy with her ring, and she immediately puts it on and admires it.
Wait, does she? I thought Laura put it on her, or does Nancy
on the third finger of her hand? Laura puts it on
She's
Nancy's.
like, "Here's a ring," puts it on for her.
She says, "I'd like you to wear this." She says it shyly. As a reminder that our friendship began on the water, she quickly slips the ring on Nancy's third finger. The pretty detective gives an exclamation of delight, admires the gift, shows it to the others, turns to Laura, and with genuine sincerity says, "This ring is priceless, and I'll always treasure it as a reminder of you, although no one can place a value on a true friendship like ours." And Laura's tearing up. It's so good!
Miscellaneous Mysteries.
In this segment, Miscellaneous Mysteries, we discuss the lingering questions we still have about this novel. The only one that I have that didn't get brought up in other contexts earlier in the podcast was just the situation that Mr. Carson is a lawyer, but he is being asked to do his own investigation into who is embezzling the funds. I did not know that that was part of your job of being a lawyer. Like, he is like going to Cincinnati to go track.
Who would do that first?
Yeah. No, but they're like, he's like searching for suspects and interviewing people and then assigning his daughter some of the work to go interview. I can understand if he was a lawyer and he's like, "Hey, Nancy, just like, under the table, gather some extra evidence for me." But he's like, "You take care of these 4 suspects. I'm going to go travel and find some more."
This is over at the table. This is what he's being asked to do by his law firm, ? By the bank?
Or is it a personal request from the like, I know he's friends with the guy in charge of the bank.
But he's not a detective by trade.
No. I know Nancy is.
For sure.
It's
but
just
Carson is not.
Yeah, so just the whole
there's
concept.
Some jobs, like teacher, for example, where you do take on, I'm also the this and I'm also the this and I have a lot of hats. Are you putting on your hats?
I'm taking on and putting on my hats, yes.
Right. Lawyer's not what I would have assumed.
Yeah, so that's just one of my miscellaneous mysteries.
That is a good one. All over the first chapter, all of the scenery was described as ugly. We've got the ugly protruding nose of a jagged boulder. There's ugly lightning. There's like all this ugly scenery. I don't know. It felt like a personal vendetta. Like, yes, it's a storm, but it felt very personal. I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. It just really stood out. Especially when in every other context, we've got attractive man, attractive car, attractive
father.
I also like that Helen is like, oh, I saw this guy in passing for half a second. All I could see is get a straw hat over his forehead, a sleeve of his tan and white jacket in this type of vehicle. And Nancy's like, oh, that's all. She's like, yep, close association with you is making me more observant. So I like that, Helen is not a detective, but with spending time with Nancy, she's picking up on some of the sleuthing skills.
Yeah, she's been paying attention to our podcast, listening to her sleuthing skills.
And I appreciate that. Thank you, Helen. Do you want to talk about this weird line?
Yes. So because I did point this out earlier in our conversations in between our recording sessions. A tree falls right in front of Nancy Drew
It was
as she's driving.
It was italicized.
Yes, it was a mid-chapter cliffhanger. And she's like, this is too big for me to do by myself. She tries. Too bad I'm not twins.
Not too bad there's not someone else here. Too
Why?
bad I'm not with my dad. Too bad I'm not twins.
Maybe this is something that she has wished previously. And so she's constantly like, if only I had a twin. So this is more of a recurring thought.
Even that is less weird. Too bad I don't have a twin. Rather than too bad I'm not.
That's true.
She wants to undergo mitosis right quick. I don't know. There is one tiny part of this book, and I have not noticed this in any other books, where it's not from Nancy's perspective. Like half a paragraph at most, talking about, I think, the fake couple, or their real couple that is posing as these guardians. It says, Nancy stretched out on the sand, unaware of the steadfast glance of a couple hidden behind a large green and white striped umbrella not far away. They nodded to each other. When Nancy was not looking, they quickly left the beach. Guess we're safe, the woman muttered. She's here to stay and have a good time. And then it immediately goes back to Nancy's perspective, and we never get anything else that's outside of what Nancy immediately knows. We don't get, oh, Carson's breaking in.
Well, we actually did in this one as well. Yeah, because you're right. It's normally been third person limited.
Right.
Or third
on Nancy's shoulder.
Yeah, we are focused on Nancy.
Did we get another one in this book? And I missed it?
It's basically what Carson, Dawn, and Laura are doing when they decide to get in the car and leave.
Oh, that's right. There is a meanwhile. And we go back to River Heights even though Nancy's not there. I don't think we've had that either.
No. It did stand out, and I'm wondering if that's something that will become
more frequent.
More frequent, or if this is let's try something. Not feeling it.
I'm very curious to follow up on that in further books. This is because it specifically said meanwhile, and that's why I had a little post-it note. I can't remember why I had it, so I just took it out. But this is very my dad would always be like, meanwhile, back in the Hall of Justice. For books that weren't about the DC Hall of Justice, this was just thrown in there when we're reading The Three Investigators or whatever. And he goes,
if it says meanwhile,
he adds that in that specific voice. And so that is what I assumed was in this book as well.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure the plans for rescue, the entire chapter is third person omniscient in River Heights.
That is a good point. Yeah, let's follow up with that in future books to see because I don't think we've had that
at all. Yeah.
For the first two. Interesting.
Especially since it's one of the standards that I teach. I pay attention to those kinds of things.
That makes sense. I just need to emphasize that the fake Jacob or Facob is actually called Stumpy Dowd, which is such a
Stumpy Dowd.
That's a criminal name if ever I've heard one. Stumpy. Yeah. I think it's actually Steven, but he goes by Stumpy.
Yes, it is. You're correct, Steven.
Yep. Alias Stumpy.
Alias Stumpy.
And finally, when Carson is going to get Nancy or trying to go rescue her, though he is a skillful driver, he is intent upon reaching the lake as soon as possible, could barely restrain himself from breaking the speed limits. And he goes, this is one time I wish I had a helicopter. And they don't laugh at him. They're like, well, you know what? Actually, if you had one, you wouldn't even be able to find a landing strip because it's too thickly wooded. They're like, yes-anding him. I'm like, you don't need to do that when he's wishing he has a helicopter. That's unnecessary.
Just be like, wouldn't that be nice?
All right, Carson, I understand your stress. That is all my miscellaneous mysteries, but there were just a lot of interesting things that jumped out at me. Gumshoe Game Show!
Now it's time for the Gumshoe Game Show, the portion of the podcast where Colleen asks me off-the-wall questions and I have no idea how to answer them and I get very stressed out.
We love it. I think you were either going to love this one or hate this one.
Oh boy.
But don't worry, it's only 5 questions.
Okay.
In this book, The Bungalow Mystery, Stumpy Dowds and his wife Alma use a disguise kit and their background as actors to impersonate an orphan's guardian in an attempt to steal her enormous fortune. This is also the exact plot of Count Olaf in a series of unfortunate events.
Yes.
Which of these items is not part of Count Olaf's various finery disguise kit And indeed, the disguise kit all VFD members have.
Oh boy. Okay, I do love this
She's
question.
got her little fingers.
I love yes.
Like evil fingers. Okay. We're looking for the one that's not in the disguise kit. A jeweled cane that turns into a sword. Taking notes. This is very intense. B, a shiny silver police badge. C, a makeup kit for veiled facial disguises. Or D, a pair of fake hands.
Ooh. Okay. I'm almost positive the makeup kit, especially when you said for veiled faces. I remember Madam from
Lulu?
Yes, from the Carnivorous Carnival. She was also a member of the VFD. And she has a veiled face, I think.
Okay, so you think that is one of the things.
I think that's one of the things
so
that's
it
in
can't
there.
be the answer. Okay.
I think there's a... This is hard. And it's okay. I like the question, but it's difficult. I have not read those books in a long time. I think the fake hands are true. I'm going to go with the police badge.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. Very good. You may remember the jeweled cane that turns into a sword being used by the optometrist. Who sword fights with Sunny, who is using her teeth.
Yes.
You may remember the fake hands being used for the hook-handed man so he can pass as a normally or a typically handed man.
A typically handed man.
It doesn't work super well, especially as in the Netflix series. It is a different skin tone than the rest of his body. It's fine. Nobody notices.
Loved the TV show.
Oh, it's such a good adaptation. This kit also includes a salmon suit, sensible pants, a wooden leg, and a judicial wig, in case you were curious. Question numero dos. In the Bungalow Mystery, Nancy crosses a suspect off the list because they donate to charity. In which Colleen Hoover book is donating to charity an automatic and unquestioned indicator of being a good person? Now, here's some background about Colleen Hoover. She has like, I want to say 5 of the top 15 bestsellers right now. She's the target, like, book talk author. Similar to Twilight, her books are often touted as love stories, although objectively, by all counts, they are abuse narratives.
Fun.
So, in which of her titles does the character know that this love interest is not abusive because he donates to charity?
Okay.
Is it in the book Ugly Love? Is it in the book Codename Charity? Is it in the book It Ends With Us? Or the book It Starts With Us?
Are all of these real titles or are any of these made up?
One of them is made up.
Okay. I feel like B's too obvious.
Correct.
But the last time I said something was too obvious, it was right.
Correct also.
I don't know which one yet, but I'm just telling you.
Okay.
I'm thinking out loud.
Process.
I'm going to feel like it's C or D, and one of them is there to throw me off as the opposite, unless you just weren't able to come up with another title. So you just were like, this one doesn't matter. D doesn't matter. I'll just make it up. And C, I'll use that. I'm going to go with C.
It is C.
Yes.
It Ends With Us, which is one of her most famous ones. It Starts With Us, I assume, is the same characters. I have not actually read any of these. I have just followed the work. I will say something I do respect about the fandom is her name is Colleen Hoover, so they shorten it to C-O-H-O. She's Coho, and they are the cohort.
Ooh.
So that's quite
like
clever,
that.
and I enjoy it. Ugly Love is a real one. It Ends With Us is a real one. It Starts With Us is a real one. Codename Charity, I made up based on Codename Verity.
Oh.
A World War II novel that I absolutely love. Now, she did actually write a book called Verity. Colleen Hoover did, but
I thought the Starts With Us was made up.
no. That's
Oh, okay.
All right, you're doing great so far. 2 for 2. Number 3. In the Bungalow Mystery, one of the villainous actors is named Alma. Now, I have personally never heard that name except for in Alma and How She Got Her Name, a picture book about a little Latina girl who thinks her name is too long and then finds out that each of her names comes from a member of her family. So if I give you her full name, you get a point for each of the ones you can translate into English.
Okay.
Now, you have an advantage because you lived in Italy for a while. So her full name is Alma Sofia Esperanza Jose Pura, P-U-R-A, Candela, C-A-N-D-E-L-A, like the Pokemon Go trainer. Sophia, I will tell you right now, it just means Sophia.
Okay.
So that one, don't worry about that one. But you get a point for each of the other ones that you can translate into English.
Candela makes me think candle. Pura
Pura.
makes me think pure. Jose, Joseph, is that the kind of... or
That's the kind of...
That's what you want me to do?
Mm-hmm.
Do I also need to do Alma?
Alma, yeah. Alma and Esperanza are options.
I read Esperanza Rising, but I don't remember it anymore. I have it on my student's bookshelf.
I was going to say, think espera, but that may not actually help. You know, another word that comes from the same root. I did not know Alma. I had to look the other ones up just to check, but I was right on.
I don't know. I'm going to go with something like wind or air related.
Is that based on the cover where she is kind of flying in the air and there's some leaves and stuff?
Maybe.
Esperanza Rising?
Yeah. Alma. Is it like an American name that I need to...
No, this one's like a word.
A word.
More like kind of like a religious word is my hint.
I'm trying to think of other words that might have Alma in there, like almanac.
Or like alms.
Alms.
You sounded like you were meditating.
Alms.
Incredible.
Alms for the poor. So I'm going to go with giving.
All right, these are really good guesses. I will say you got the first three completely right.
For Joseph, pure and candle.
Joseph, pure and candle. Esperanza means hope.
Ah.
But you were really close with Win based on the cover.
That's what I was like.
And alma means soul. Which I did not
Soul.
learn until today. So you got 3 points from that one. Very, very good. All right, we've got 2 more questions. Are you ready?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. In The Bungalow Mystery, Nancy uses her sixth sense. In the movie novelization...
Oh, boy.
These are all literature based on stuff I saw in the book. The movie novelization of The Sixth Sense is written by Peter Larangis, famed ghostwriter in many popular series. Which of these series did he not ghostwrite for? A. The Owl Diaries. B. The Hardy Boys Case Files, which is the more modern Hardy Boys, so not the 30s one. C. The Babysitter's Club. And D. 39 Clues. Or The 39 Clues, perhaps.
Okay. I'm going to...
He is sometimes known as Sweet Pete Larangis. Does that help?
No.
Okay, cool.
No, it does not.
Great, thank you.
I'm going to go with the Babysitter's Club.
Unfortunately, that's one of the ones he wrote most of. He wrote over, I think, 40 books of The Babysitter's Club.
Owl Diaries was my next guess. Okay.
Are you thinking of like girly, quote unquote,
a
books?
little bit, but I'm also like 39 Clues. Like everyone has written one of the 39 Clues.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Hardy Boys, I just feel like since it's such a long ongoing. I mean, I know the Babysitter's Club is too,
but Hardy Boys is longer and more ongoing.
Yeah, and I feel
so
like
that was the one I put in. I was writing these down and taking little notes, and I was like, oh, I was going to put in the Hardy Boys as a fake answer, and then it turns out he wrote for the Hardy Boys, just the more recent one. All right, are you ready for the final question?
Yes. Right now, I have 5 points.
You do. As per usual, if you can get the 5th question completely right, you win everything in the whole world.
Yay!
You get an aquamarine ring from me. You already have one, but too bad. All right. In The Bungalow Mystery, Nancy asked Laura to have a second breakfast with her and Helen in the motel restaurant.
Okay.
Second breakfast, of course,
Oh,
is
now,
a Hobbit meal.
yes. Oh, now I'm feeling very stressed.
What are
If I
the
could...
7 Hobbit meals?
Oh, goodness. Okay.
Now, I've given you one of them, so if you miss that one, that's going to be a problem.
Breakfast, second breakfast, 11sies, luncheon, afternoon tea, dinner, and supper.
Incredible. You've won it all.
Yay!
You are an incredible literary scholar and a gentleman. No, gentleman and scholar. You're a lady and a scholar. You've done it.
Yay! I did like this one.
Good. Yay. Excellent.
This is a
Some
good
of
one.
them were a little thinner connections than others, such as the Sixth Sense movie novelization. I was surprised that didn't come from a book first. But I wasn't. I was like, yeah, do you want the movie novel? I'm like, I guess.
I think most of M. Night Shyamalan's movies are...
They're just off the dome.
Yeah, like I think besides like, Avatar, Last Airbender, or whatever they call it. Just The Last Airbender.
That movie doesn't exist to me. Awesome. Fantastic.
Thank you so much for joining us on our podcast reading of The Bungalow Mystery. Join us next time.
We will be reading The Mystery at Lilac Inn.
Thank you so much for joining us on Me and You and Nancy Drew.
This podcast is lovingly dedicated to the memory of my wonderful mother, Shar, world's best mom, and the woman who got me hooked on sassy female detective stories. I also want to thank my brother Ben for creating most of our sound and music cues for this podcast. Thanks, Ben.
You can check out our website, meandyouandnancydrew.com, for show transcripts, links to our social media, and our Patreon, where we'll post any images that we described during the podcast. Those will be visible to anyone without a paywall, so that we're not describing nebulous images that you can't see at home. But if you'd like to become a patron, there are various perks there, including outtakes or things that got cut for time, stickers, and cross-stitch patterns to create your own Drewseum at home, and more.
Thank you, Megan, for editing the podcast, doing a lot of research about podcast creation, and adding a few additional sound cues as needed.
Thank you, Colleen, for also editing the podcast, for transcribing it, and for helping create our logo.
Thank you to our partners for all the support and love, and especially for lending us their microphones that they bought for a completely different purpose, but said we could borrow once in a while.
Thank you to libraries everywhere for giving access to Nancy Drew books and all the other books that we mentioned today, and just media of all kinds to people everywhere for free.
And finally, thank you, of course, to Carolyn Keene for independently writing each of the Nancy Drew books from 1930 to modern day. We couldn't do this without you and your 613 individual novels.
And remember, as Nancy Drew famously said in this book,
Romance and detective work won't mix tonight.